A vibrant, sprawling city home to over 200,000 students. But behind the colorful chaos lies a quiet struggle. Rising grocery prices, energy bills, and above all, housing. Apartments are hard to find, and affordable ones even more scarce. Some students search for months, only to end up in overpriced rooms or no room at all. We met Limuel, who recently moved to Berlin. He tells us what it means to fight for a place to live.
I never stopped my search for the apartment, so this was an ongoing search from June to December. But in so it's a long time, that's what I'm trying to say. I kind of pressured them into giving me this apartment by saying I'm gonna sign it right away tomorrow. Yeah, that was kind of how I got the apartment. They told me afterwards the only reason I was picked was because I was the first one to take it. I kind of was desperate, especially in July, August and stuff, after I got the immatriculation, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it must have been a total of over 200, 300, 400 apartments, I don't know.
He pays 590 euros for this one-room apartment. Sounds good, right?
Yeah, but that's cold. And I don't know if you can see it, but the water is run through a boiler. The heaters work through electricity, just straight off the plug. So everything in here that is warm and that's necessary is an extra cost that I have to make with the provider, the energy provider. And those costs add up.
Limuel pays over 1,000 euros a month just for rent. Sadly, he's not an exception. Many students in Berlin are facing the same struggle, high living costs and low support.
I know people who are paying more than 700 euros per month. That's kind of not possible for a student to pay it alone. If you're working part-time, 20 hours a week, then maybe you can make it, but you also need to study, so it's really hard. That's why I'm living home currently. So yeah, it's a really big problem here in Berlin.
Yeah, actually, for students to get a job and to actually have money and study, that's hard. So probably that might be the reason. And the rent, of course. The rent in Berlin is crazy high.
In fact, high rents are the number one cause of existential fear among students. In Berlin, the average rent for a shared flat is 650 euros, while state support covers just 380 euros. And with only 5% living in dorms, most face the market on their own. But it's not just in Germany. In the US, students are facing a similar crisis. Rent prices have skyrocketed near college campuses, forcing many into overcrowded housing or long commutes. A recent study found that nearly half of US college students experience housing insecurity. For many, it's become their number one concern, something we also heard firsthand in South Carolina.
One would be just the cost of living, so sort of rent and utilities. That would probably be at the top of the list.
To cope with the costs, students are forced to work, often at the expense of their studies.
About 30% of our students work more than 30 hours, right? And so anything over 20, you potentially then are getting into, right? Do you have enough time to study? Do you have enough time, right, to be academically successful?
There's some times where I just can't work at all, and then I have to make up for that time in other times. And it often clashes with the hearings or other things, uni stuff. And I do think there's a lot of missing out you do on just acquiring information.
Financial pressure weighs heavily on students, not just in daily life, but also in their ability to focus on their studies. We spoke with a student social worker who observes these struggles up close every day.
Financial stress plays a major role. Because when you don't have money to pay the semester fee or paying the rent, you don't study easily.
This kind of stress doesn't stay at the surface. It affects both mind and studies.
And anxiety is a problem. They have panic attacks. They have a sleep disorder. They write exams but really badly or take it at all.
I have exams in 2 weeks and I haven't been able to really start studying because of work. the more you do one thing, the less you do the other thing, and it's like you have to always find the balance. And I think this balancing act is kind of probably a stress factor. Also, maybe that you don't get to see friends that much if you work all the time.
I think that people need to realize that students don't have a lot of time, regardless of how many classes they're taking. Having multiple jobs, which a lot of students have to afford their living situations, is just unrealistic.
My main issue is really that I pay way too much rent. So like in BAföG, it is like calculated that you have 300 euro for rent. 300 euro doesn't even cover my rent cold. 300 euro barely covers my utilities.
But why are rents so high and what can be done about it? This complex housing crisis is shaped by rising construction costs, limited space, and slow bureaucracy. We spoke with Konstantin Pott from the Liberal FDP to hear what role politicians can play in improving the situation for students.
We need to get to the point overall where we build faster. I mean, the challenge is that especially the metropolitan areas are growing faster than there's actually influx. And because of that, we have a shortage of housing. That's why we need to make sure that housing is created faster in general. Then it will also become more affordable overall. And we also manage to have more student housing available in the end.
Affordable housing is more than just a place to sleep. It's the foundation for real access to education. When rent eats up most of a student's income, there's barely anything left for food, health, or the headspace to study. Lemuel's story shows how financial pressure reaches far beyond the front door. It shapes everyday life, academic performance, and mental well-being. If we truly want education to be fair and accessible, then addressing the housing crisis isn't optional, it's essential.